Albania just appointed a minister who doesn't exist physically. No shoes, no scandals, supposedly, just code and algorithms. In a traditional folk press, of course. This AI minister gig is being sold as corruption proof, right? But the question is, what are we really trading off? Sorry, Carbon, welcome to another episode here for the Fun Report, Mindful Media and Communication. And, well, so what's going on, right? Albania's Prime Minister, Edi Rama, appointed Diella, that's my German pronunciation of it, a virtual AI figure as Minister for Public Procurement. Cool. Before Diella got promoted, Diella used to be the VA, a virtual assistant, on the e-Albania platform, okay? Now it's been promoted, elevated to manage public tenders, and I noted down public tenders, supposedly to make them 100% corruption-free. Nice. And when you look at like how Diella, the algorithm, is depicted as in like an traditional Albanian costume created in partnership with Microsoft. And it handles tens of thousands of documents as of the time of recording. So now why am I hating on it? It's probably what you're thinking, because you know that I'm not here to compliment someone all the time. And it sounds cool, right? Algorithm not being bribable. Why not? Well, opposition in Albania says it might be unconstitutional. Secondly, there are concerns over oversight, because who's in charge of the algorithm? Who runs the bot? Who tells the bot what to do? Who tells the bot what's okay and what's not okay? So what about oversight? What about potential biases? Because we know that algorithms, AI, is being biased. So what if that bot is being biased? And what about manipulation? We all know how to manipulate our personal AI to tell us what we want to hear. So you can certainly also manipulate like Diella, right? So those are things that need to be discussed. And that's why, even though I teach lots of AI stuff at uni, I might have my he's a hater voice on right now, because I want to know answers to those questions. So why now? What are the stakes? What are the motivation behind all of that? Well, Albania, I'm not sure how much you know about Albania. If you're not from Europe, you might not be as familiar, but Albania has been battling corruption for a long time. In Europe, Albania is rather famous for being suffering from corruption. Apparently, while I was preparing for this podcast, I saw that one of the biggest problems apparently has been a procurement scandal, actually several procurement scandals. Also, they want to be part of the European Union and want to contribute to the European Union, of course, in a meaningful manner, which then is hard if you're always battling corruption. So therefore, Diella, this automated bot AI, minister is being pitched as being more efficient and like a signal for legitimacy, making like the government less prone to corruption. And so, hey, look, you can trust us. We can be a meaningful member of the EU. Okay. Politically, of course, it also gives the current government something tech cool to display. Like, look, we're using AI. We're the first ones to use AI. Look how cool we are. We know everything. We're using AI for government. The others don't. Look at us. So that's, of course, one of the reasons as well. Shows that they are all about innovation, transparency, theatrics. Because let's be honest, most of it is theatrics. Diella is not a magic AI minister. Diella is a bot and all. It's an algorithm that makes decisions based on your inputs. Also, and I think that's the most important part, and you're going to have to be quiet now because that's the part that they don't want to talk about. AI allows for plausible deniability. Because it's not humans, it's the algorithm. That's the perfect excuse for whenever something goes wrong, or for when not go wrong in the eye of the public, maybe not wrong in the eye of the politicians because they wanted to go wrong in quotation marks here, and I'm sure you understand. But shifting the blame if things go wrong to, hey, it's been the algorithm, not us, is amazing. That's what the Indonesian parliament should have done. That's what the Nepali parliament should have done. Wasn't us. We didn't ask for the increase of allowance. The algorithm decided it was time for it, so we can't stop it. For those who just listen and don't watch, I just made a fist because that's what's gonna happen. You can bet your house on it. That's exactly what will happen. Okay, plausible deniability will be the go-to excuse for anything that's going to go wrong there now, and things will go wrong. How do I know? Well, because people, and here's the theory behind it, okay? I brought you 1, 2, 3, 4 theories here, even one legal theory at the end, and I'm not a lawyer, I have to say that right away, but we talked about it many times. But hey, let's start with the first theory that you should be familiar with, hyperreality. Sean Baudrillard, our friend Sean, who pops up in every other podcast that we have together, talks about hyperreality, right? So hyperreality means basically, if you need more details, go back. Hyperreality, go back in the podcasts where I explain in more detail. Hyperreality basically means we're not sure what is real, what's not real. I always use the example of social media these days because it's easy to understand. You see something, you know it's all performance on social media, but you look at it and then you take it at face value, and then for you it's real, so it becomes real to you, and everything after that you base on what you just think is real, even though it's not real. Right? If you hear it for the first time, you're like, what the hell? But if you've heard it before, you understand that. So now Diella, the PM, or the not PM, the Minister AI, is a simulation. Just like in hyperreality, social media is a simulation of life, of real life. Now this AI is a simulation of governance. It's not a real person. Citizens may interact with her, but what is real? Because, and now, think with me, is transparency just the appearance of transparency? So it appears transparent. It's the algorithm. But who controls the algorithm? What do we as the public know about the algorithm? So that point of like, it wasn't a person that made the decision, it was the computer. Does that make it any better? Yeah, hyperreality. Now what looks real to me is real because it's what I interact with, but it's not real because it's just a simulation of an actual person. True. Secondly, we have to talk about it, and I try to keep it short, but there's a term called algorithmic governance, and I'm going to throw ethics, AI ethics in there as well. So algorithmic governance talks about the question I had in the beginning. Who trains that AI? Who trains Diella? Who audits her? Who controls the hidden weights and biases? Could the AI itself be manipulated? Yes. All AI can be manipulated, right? So how do you prevent it from being manipulated? Don't tell me because it's in partnership with Microsoft. The company that brings your co-pilot, you trust that company that brings your co-pilot with your governance? Really? Yeah, so that's a question needs to be answered. Another one. Another one. The spectacle. In this case, not the spectacle of the society of the spectacle that we discussed many times before, but the government of the spectacle. The government of the spectacle, that's just something I made up right now, but the government uses spectacle to push their own agenda, to push soft power. Let's just use another buzzword, soft power. Using an AI minister is a signal internally to like, hey, look how cool we are, buy in, yes, but also externally. If you have like EU membership aspirations, it's like, hey, look at this. We're cool, we're trustworthy, no corruption, look at us. We're innovation first, let's go. Yeah. It's political theater. That's what it is. I try to find nicer words around it, but there's nothing nice to say. It's political theater. It's cool, it's fun, it's hip, it's something to talk about. You can have a podcast about it, but it's theater, it's theatrics. And I'm a big AI proponent, for God's sake. If you hear the thunder in the background. I'm all for AI and use AI and please do all those things. But just saying it's unbiased and it can be manipulated is just theater, okay? Last part of the theory corner. Accountability, public accountability, the legal theory behind all of that. What about constitutional legitimacy? Is it constitutional to have a robot run your stuff? That's exactly what the opposition is saying, right? The opposition is saying it's not constitutional. So just doing it, and then you have to switch it off again. Then what happens then? What happens with all the decisions that have been made by the AI? Are they still valid? Will they become void? What's the legal status of the AI minister? Can the AI minister, what happens if the AI minister makes a mistake? Can the minister then be prosecuted? The people that feed the information? The people programmed it? I mean, they should definitely be in jail. Hey, co-pilot. What about what I said earlier, the oversight? Who's in charge of it? Who's responsible when Diella fails? I mean, ChatGPT sometimes is down and locks you out. And then? So what? So many questions. And you trust your government decisions, and it's just procurement, it's just money that apparently Albania has enough of. But still, what? Unbelievable. Okay, let me give you some examples or some implications, and I promise I'm gonna keep the AI hate short, because actually, believe it or not, like I said, I'm a proponent of all things artificial intelligence. But okay, I actually wrote down some notes, okay? So, like I said earlier, Albania has been famous for corruption cases. So there have been cases of public tenders in Albania that historically had corruption issues. So now a question would be, can we compare the before and the after? And that's an actual question, can be, because they for sure will, but can we trust that comparison? Because I don't think that comparison will be unbiased, to be honest. There are lots of online skeptics. I found some on the Guardian and so on. The takeaway, and yes, I know, think about the Guardian, whatever you want, but like other publications too. And I just saw one quote that I just found funny. It said like, even Diella will be corrupted in Albania. So even the AI bot algorithm will be corrupted, because all of Albania, no offense if someone from Albania is watching, you know it better than me, right? Even Diella will be corrupted in Albania. So now we can also think other international precedents where have we seen something like this before? And yeah, you have e-governance in Estonia, I know, but it's different, right? It's way on a smaller scale, I want to say, in the governance part. I mean, you could look into China and see how they use algorithms, but then the question would be, would China be your role model? If you're in Europe, hopefully you answer that very, very quickly with a no. If you're hesitating, then I'm not sure if I want you to listen to me any longer. So those are questions you have to ask yourself. And I don't think that those questions have been answered in Albania, to be honest. So my takeaway for this right now, so we keep it at like 15 minutes rant, it's a great experiment. It's a great experiment. I love the idea. I just don't think we can trust the implementation, because the transparency isn't clear. Who's in charge, oversight, all the things we discussed earlier, which data are we using, and so on. Plus, we don't know how the algorithm actually works. So that does not, all that said, right? Saying we're more transparent doesn't make you more transparent. Using an algorithm that no one knows how it works does not mean, I should trust you more, and it also doesn't mean that you're immune from manipulation or misuse, because as you said many times in this episode, you can manipulate the AI. We all know how to do it. We all know we manipulate our own AI on our phone all the time. And the political promise is huge, right? Zero corruption, faster bureaucracy, and so on. That should signal to EU citizens, and and then the EU itself, like, let us in. But the risk is also real. The risk of no oversight, and I said it 1,000 times, but it's just so important to understand it. Oversight of potential abuse, false confidence in particular, like saying like, hey, just trust that thing. Yeah, but then someone's manipulating that thing. Yeah, we ask for clean government everywhere around the world, and instead of a clean government, we get clean code. Here's the, well, I don't like the word hope, but here's to hoping that someone doesn't just buy that poetic tagline and runs with it. Let me know what you think. Do you think trust the code? Or do you think it's all just, like I said, big theater? Shout out in the comments. Comments really help. If someone's out there with actual knowledge about it, also shout out. Would love to have a conversation. Until then, as always, stay safe, take care. Think twice before you trust the code. Until then, sorry.